My website is called Malama Aina for the Future, and this is the homepage, and this is a picture of the protest that took place down the streets of Waikiki on Oahu. My thesis is that the Native Hawaiians are fighting to protect the land that was taken away from them ever since the U.S. annexed Hawaii in 1898. Sacred lands, burial grounds, and wildlife sanctuaries have been destroyed across all 8 of the islands. Recent protests at Mauna Kea have made headlines as Hawaiians are protesting to stop the construction of TMT, which is a 30-meter telescope on the top of Mauna Kea. The summit of Mauna Kea is sacred land, and so the Hawaiians are coming together to put an end to the construction of TMT. There are already 13 telescopes that aren't supposed to be there, and now it's time that the Hawaiians are saying enough is enough. They won't let their land be taken away from them, and they're showing the Hawaii government that they won't tolerate the mistreatment that they've been shown. Below is my works cited page, but I'm thinking of making it a separate page on its own. My next page is the About page. So Malama Aina is a saying that is known in Hawaii that means to protect or care for the land. The Hawaiians are acting true to their word as they say this, and they are doing all they can to protect Mauna Kea. Mauna Kea is on the Big Island, but people in all the other islands have been locally protesting and showing their support for the protests happening at Mauna Kea. My target audience are non-Hawaiian locals and those who visit the island to vacation. Locally, we should be supporting the Hawaiians since they are the indigenous people of Hawaii, and we should also have the want to protect the beauty of our islands. For visitors that come to the islands, it is important for them to also understand the hardships that the Hawaiians face to keep the Hawaiian culture alive. Personally, I grew up on the island of Oahu and danced hula since I was 7 years old. Through dancing hula, I've learned a lot about the history and culture of Hawaii, and so then I end up falling in love with the Hawaiian culture, which makes me feel inclined to support the Hawaiian movement to protect the land and also to protect the Hawaiian culture. My next page is some cultural background. For religion, the Hawaiians believe that gods live in and amongst the land. For example, one of the well-known gods is Pele, who is the goddess of fire. She is believed to have made the Hawaiian Islands, and so the Hawaiians honor her frequently. Like this relationship, the Hawaiians honor many other gods who make up the land, and that's why it's important to them to protect the land that is sacred and is also used for worship. Mauna Kea is the tallest mountain in the whole world from sea level. This makes it a prime place for astronomy research, but the summit is sacred land. The summit is supposed to be the home of the gods, and so in old Hawaii, no one ever approached the top. On the left is a picture of the beauty of Mauna Kea. The social, cultural, political Renaissance movement emerged at the time of the 100th anniversary of the overthrow of the Hawaiian Kingdom. The movement started the revitalization of the Hawaiian culture and practice that had been repressed when the US stepped in. Since then, the Hawaiians have been continuously fighting for their culture and land that was taken from them. They are coming together stronger than ever before to protect their culture. And the picture on the left is of Queen Liliuokalani, who was the last monarch of Hawaii who got overthrown by the US government. The next page is about the protest. So, disputes of not wanting TMT to be built on the Mauna have been going on since 2014. The University of Hawaii promised to take care of the land on the summit, but they didn't. They broke their promise, which made the Hawaiians mad. As of now, there's 13 telescopes that shouldn't be there. And so even more so, the Hawaiians were angered and don't want TMT to be built because there shouldn't be anything built on the mountain in the first place. The land up there is marked to be conservation land, but that hasn't been honored by the state of Hawaii. Recent protests at Mauna Kea have been big because the Hawaiians are really fighting harder than ever to protect the land and their culture. The kupunas, who are the elders, are at the forefront of the battle, and they want to end the desecration of sacred land so that the generations to come don't have to deal with the mistreatment of their culture. And here are some pictures of the protest. This one in the middle at the bottom is the protest at Mauna Kea, and they're blocking the access road, which is the only road to get up to the summit. Protesters faced the largest police force gathered against Hawaiians, and they came from all over the place. Some police came from the federal government, and some from outer islands and other organizations. Despite their large numbers, the Hawaiians remained firm in their stance to not move from their spots. Kupuna were arrested in groups and were so determined to not give up their spot that they were carried away by officers. It was hard um, for the people there to watch because the kupuna are the ones who care for the land and for the next generation. Here are some pictures of the officers who gathered at Mauna Kea, and the two at the bottom left show them carrying and escorting the kupuna to the vans. And many other people also came to support the Hawaiians. Other Pacific Islanders came to show their support, and some of the prominent ones were Tonga, Fiji, and New Zealand. They're shown at the bottom. The blue is Fiji, the red is Tonga, and this last one is New Zealand. So despite the protests, the people honored Hawaiian tradition by having hula and chant take place at Mauna Kea for everyone to see. Many kahiko or ancient hula talk about the relationship to the land and tell stories of the gods. Here are some pictures of the protesters dancing together. The video in the bottom right is a personal video of me and three of my hula sisters chanting He aloha o Mauna Kea and dancing to the kahiko named Poliahu. Here I talk about the famous people who supported the protest. Dwayne Johnson and Jason Momoa have Polynesian ties and have lived in Hawaii. Both visited Mauna Kea to show their support. Bruno Mars, who is also from Hawaii, and Leonardo DiCaprio also uploaded posts on Instagram to show their support. And here's some pictures of them and the posts on Instagram. This section are quotes from the video Like a Mighty Wave, a Mauna Kea film. I wanted to include their statements because they were at the protest and give firsthand eyewitness accounts of what happened at the protest. They also talk about the importance of the land and what the whole protest is about. My next page is why you should support. Besides the protest taking place at Mauna Kea, the bigger picture is that the Hawaiians want their sovereignty back. We should support them because they have been fighting to keep their culture and land for generations. The natural beauty of Hawaii should be preserved for next generations of kama'aina and visitors to come. The motto that is used in the protest is Kukia'i Mauna, which means guardians of the mountain. Here's a picture of the logo that many protesters use. I chose Barbara and Tier's essay that talks about the Black arts movement and how Black artists need to use their platform to promote Black culture. It does them no good to assimilate to white culture, and so they need to embrace their own culture and be proud of it. They need to be examples to advocate to everyone the beauty and rights of the Black culture so that they can be respected. In relation to this project, it is important for those who have ties with Hawaii to speak up. I mentioned it earlier, but also mentioned here that it's important to have people like The Rock, Jason Momoa, Bruno Mars, and Leonardo DiCaprio to show support and speak out on behalf of the Hawaiians. They use their platform to reach a larger audience who would have otherwise not heard about the movement taking place in Hawaii. Even though those people made it big, they never forget their ties to Hawaiian culture. Although Leonardo DiCaprio doesn't have ties with Hawaii, it shows that he is supporting the bigger notion that Indigenous people should have rights and they need to be honored. This is an example that you shouldn't or you don't need to be Hawaiian to support the movement. Hawaii is such a small place and in this world, but for those people to speak up for the Hawaiians of for the people of Hawaii is something that many people are thankful for.